Okay. 6 seconds. Goodness gracious. How is that already? That's not possible. Okay. Oh, let's see. I got to do one last thing. I forgot. Mm, go to, okay, there it is. Hey, did y'all see the video before this? Or I was talking about having to talk about trending topics in order to be relevant with your content. If you didn't, that is that's basically what we're gonna talk about today. Um, because I am the kind of person that tends to not want to make my content solely about trending topics. But then there's also a part of me that feels like my content is boring. Like, especially when it comes to lives, it feels boring. And so I always operate with the assumption that there's other people who can relate to that and feel like that too. And so we're going to talk about it. And like, is that what it takes in order to be? Oh, that's not going to work. Let's see. I don't know if that's going to pop up. Is that what it takes for your content to be seen? Do you have to be talking about what's trending? Do you have to be talking about everything that everybody else is talking about? Um, what about the people who don't enjoy just like making content where they're talking about other people all the time? And I really want to talk about, like, honestly, where those feelings come from, because there's it's like a trigger for me. It's a trigger for me. So I want to talk about that. But y'all give me 1 second. If you're in here, you're listening and you're interested, tap the screen for me. Tap the screen for me, and I'm gonna be right back so I can get this picture up. Okay. We got it up. All right. I'm about to put up an image. If you're listening to this on YouTube, I'm not going to be able to show it to y'all because we can't do green screen with YouTube. Um, they don't have that capability. I would have to do it. Hello, hello. Happy Saturday, y'all. I would have to do it with oh, is that gonna be my full background? No, I don't want that one. In order to do it, in order to do it on YouTube, I would have to literally use boom, there we go. I would have to literally use the another app to do that. Okay. So it's up. So hmm I feel like there's a couple of reasons why Kendrick is the perfect idea of like who I think about when I think about this topic. And so y'all, if you don't know, Kendrick Lamar dropped an album yesterday. And the album, I have not listened to it yet because when Kendrick comes out with new music, I like to listen to it uninterrupted. And the best experience for me listening to music is when you're in the car. Like, you're in the car, you got a long drive, and you just got time to just like let the music play uninterrupted. Like, if anybody else, like, I feel like, like, I know it's just that there's a different feeling, there's a different vibe when you don't have to like stop the song somewhere. You can just listen to it uninterrupted. Thank you, Charmaine. So I want to wait until I got a long enough drive where I can just listen to the album, which I should be able to tomorrow. So that's my plan. So I don't have any thoughts on the album just yet. But when I do listen to it, we're going to circle back and we're going to talk about it because just based off of what I'm hearing about it so far, I definitely feel that it's just gonna speak to where I'm at. Like it's gonna speak to where I'm at. I'm gonna be able to feel it like just like deep in my soul. And so how I love the type of creator that he is. And I think about other artists too. Like I think about people like Dochi. Dochi's having like a really big moment right now, but Dochi is not a new artist. And so thank you, Charmaine. Like Dochi's not a new artist. So she's been out here doing her thing, making music. And she said something recently where she was talking about how she doesn't want to like that rap is not about following a blueprint. Like it's not about following no. Like it's not about following a framework. It's about just creating authentically. And so she said that for this album that she has out now, that was the mood that was the type of time that she was on. Like I want to just create authentically and put it out there and look at how successful that is. Another artist that I think about that does this well is Tyler the Creator. And Tyler the Creator, I just don't even understand why he's just like, it's like every year he just gets bigger and bigger. And he started off in this very niche way that I can really resonate with and relate to, because especially like being black but not necessarily feeling like the way that your blackness is expressed is relatable, like just having things about you having certain perspectives or certain interests that just don't resonate with everybody, and feeling like an outsider to a certain extent. And so that was how I was feeling. Like I'd be feeling like I just be feeling different. And I feel like the things that I enjoy and I want to talk about are not what everybody else is rocking with. And so I gravitate towards the type of artists that don't lean into pop culture the way that we're used to seeing it. Like they don't create in the same like hamster wheel that a lot of people tend to when it comes to being someone who is a part of the culture and you're relevant and you're speaking on it, but not in the same way. And I just don't even know if I have the words to describe how it's different. But like, let's say for instance, like this album, and this is me assuming that a lot of the things that he speaks on are relevant. Like they're relevant issues, they're relevant problems, they are things that people really do care about that are that's it's a part of our culture, right? Like let's just say that that's a part of the theme in the music, talking about relevant topics that are relevant to our culture, relevant to the times, and it speaks about them critically. It speaks about them it speaks about them creatively, and it is still not like it doesn't feel gimmicky. It just feels like this is my critical analysis of where our culture is and being able to speak to it and talk about it. And so I've been feeling like really challenged by this whole idea lately, especially feeling like my content is boring, especially my lives. Like feeling like my lives are boring, feeling like the like people feel obligated to be here, but they're not really enjoying being here. And just feeling like all I'm doing is just like talking at people and talking over people's heads. Like that's something that I heard recently about my content, is that it feels like the topics are going over this person's head. And so I'm sitting here and I took it like I kind of just like took it, I didn't really I won't say I didn't think too much of it, but I didn't take it personally. I just took it like, okay, that's interesting. And so it made me wonder, thank you, Leon. It made me wonder, so would make it feel more relevant to you? What would make it feel more relatable? What would make it feel like you want to be a part of this conversation? And this whole thought process started because I was saying like that during this challenge, I've been feeling like I don't want to keep I don't want every live to be me teaching. I don't want every conversation to be teaching. I don't want everything that I discuss to feel serious, but also having a hard time with creating content that doesn't have a purpose. Like, and I won't say it doesn't have a purpose, but it doesn't align with my purpose. I guess that's a better way of putting it. It doesn't align with what I want my content to do. And there are some like conversations, and there's just some things that I feel are not are it's not the direction I want to go in. It feels like it would take it in a completely different direction. So that that has been it's been like a really big sore point. And that's the inspiration behind this whole live. So let me like go through some of the feelings, and y'all let me know if you can relate to any of these. So one of the biggest things is not feeling like being who I am is good enough. Feeling like the type of person that I am, the type of things that interest me, the way that I speak is not good enough. Like that was like the initial reaction that I felt. Like, why is it that how I am and what I like to talk about, why does it feel like that's not good enough for people? Why does it feel like that's not um enough? Like enough. Like I don't think that I'm necessarily, and even just in general, I don't feel like I'm the most entertaining person. Like, and I've never felt that way about myself. I've never felt like I was somebody who necessarily entertained people. I feel like I've been a place like a I feel like I've been a safe space. I feel like I've been an encouraging space. I feel like I'm a space where people feel like they can share their ideas and they can share who they are without judgment. I feel like an encouraging space. Like that's the kind of energy that I feel like I've always had. And when it comes to being more entertaining, it seems that I can, but I would have to literally like turn that on. Like that's like it feels like I would be acting. And that's not something that I typically want to do. Hey, Shakir, that's not something I typically want to do. Like, I don't want to be an actor. I'm not trying to pursue a career in acting. And then, even when it comes to media and my idea of having my own TV show one day and having my own series, the types of things that I want to do, they're rooted in just being yourself. Like the things like uh, the things like reality like competition shows like Project Runway. Like I love shows like that. I love documentary style things where you get to learn about someone's life and you get to learn about their story and who they are. And I know that when it comes to TV and filmmaking, that there are elements to it that make it exciting and that make it interesting and just like visually appealing. I understand those concepts, and I don't feel like it's disingenuous to have an artistic perspective or expression, or just even utilizing certain things that are a good practice. You know, like that to me is common sense. Where it starts to feel like a challenge for me is if I feel that I have to then become a certain person in order for people to pay attention to me and for people to want to listen to me. And again, I love acting. I love and appreciate what actors bring to us, like to the culture. I don't think that acting is a bad thing. I absolutely love the people that are entertainers, but I don't feel called to that space. Like I just don't feel, they just don't feel like me. No, I've never heard of that, Shakir. What is it? I don't feel that, just don't, it don't speak to me. Okay. Like it that, like deep down in my shondo, it's not resonating. It's not clicking. So that's one of the biggest ones. The biggest thing that I was feeling is that I want to be able to be recognized for being real, like being me. I don't want to have to put on an act in order to entertain people. And so that's the first part of it. The second thing is that if I do decide to go the route where I'm always talking about a trending topic, or I'm always making a reference to, I'm basing like my conversations around pop culture or cultural references and things like that, it feels like that's what I would always have to do. And that's not something I always want to have to do. Like I just don't want to always have to do that. Oh, okay. Okay. I'll definitely take a look at that later. And so I just don't want to, I don't want to do that. Like that's just, I don't want to be stuck having to create content that feels is more, not even clickbaity. I just don't even know how to like put a word to what it feels like. But I think about the platforms that are really heavy on talking about what's trending, and that's the hey Matt, and that's their bread and butter. That's how they attract people. That's what people come to them for. And a lot of them end up being more like gossipy than anything else. And while I feel like it's cool because it's entertainment, that's not my lane. And I don't want to be that person either. So I'm sitting here thinking about like how does it look to have a more entertaining space or a more engaging space, um but not to go into that place where now I've completely changed my direction and my perspective and my mission, which is not to entertain people. It is to have people to see what the possibilities are for their brand, to have people to see what they can do with their authentic voice, to have people to feel like they can run a business and market in a way isn't that isn't, I mean, the word that I'm thinking of is gimmicky. Like it's not gimmicky. It's just I'm just being me, and me being who I am is what is drawing you. It's the selling point. It's the feature. And I was just having a really hard time with that whole idea there. I'm having a hard time seeing this. So yeah, I was that was the other thought that I was having. So let me go, because I wrote down I wrote down a bunch of stuff. So I was going through those thoughts, those feelings, feeling like if I have to talk about trending topics and that's the only way that I can get people's attention, I don't want to keep doing that. Like I don't want to keep going that route. I'm seeing people and artists who are able to lean into being creators, being authentic, being themselves, and being able to build a platform off of that. I even look at some of the people that I really admire and look up to, and how they built their platforms, and they didn't have to go that route. Like they didn't have to lean on talking about whatever's happening on the news or whatever's trending. They were able to talk about what it was that they were talking about. And it's like they just like built this community of people that are interested in the topic too. And so I'm those are the things like I'm reconciling with. So like where is the constructive feedback that I can take from this? And where is the no, me going that route is going to take me away from what I need to be doing? And there has to be, for me, there has to be a certain point where I'm like, that doesn't align with me. Like that doesn't fly, that doesn't work for me. But also just seeing how it works for some people. And it makes me feel like, is that what I should be doing? Is that what I'm supposed to be doing? So I was thinking about all of that. And so I had to really work through this thought process of how do I make this work? Like how do I really like maneuver through this? And so I want to take y'all through the 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 way of thinking that led me to being able to talk about this topic today, because the if y'all saw the video that I posted, and if you're on YouTube, then you didn't see this video already. Well, but I think that I will take it and I'll post it over on YouTube as well and see what the response is going to be. But I talked about is my I feel like my content is boring, or I didn't say those words. I should have when recorded the video. I was like, man, I should have did that instead. But that's fine. The name of this live on YouTube though is I feel like my content is boring, or my content is boring. And so when I put that video up though, my thinking, it wasn't coming from a defeated place. It was presenting a problem that I feel a lot of people have. Like I feel like a lot of people feel like their personality is boring. I feel like they think that the things that they want to talk about is boring. I feel like they think that if they get on live, especially getting on live, that nobody's going to listen and nobody's going to be interested in what they're talking about. I feel like there's a lot of people who just are intimidated by this idea of, if I show up in these spaces and it doesn't work out, or if I'm not getting the results that I want, or if I'm not seeing those numbers, then it means that there's something wrong with me. And I see it, even though people don't say it, I see it, especially when I post about this challenge and people are like, oh yeah, I've been thinking about going live on TikTok, or I've been thinking about going live on YouTube, but I haven't got there yet, or I something's holding me back. Like what, like the things that we say when, we know, but it's fine, because I'm gonna say it for us. Like I'm gonna say the quiet part out loud for everybody. All right. You feel like your content is boring. Let's talk about why you feel like that. Okay. That's what today is gonna be about. Let's talk about it. So as I was thinking about this topic, and I was thinking about this conversation, I was I was considering, what is the resistance that I feel? What is this feel like, this thing that I have against talking about or using the methods that I see people using that works for them? Like, why does it feel so hard and so just like inauthentic? Like it just doesn't feel like me. Where is that coming from? So as I'm thinking about it, the first thing that comes to my mind is, well, it feels gimmicky. It feels like people are just using what is out there, or using what they see other people doing to keep them relevant, right? Like to tap into that. And my I guess you could kind of say that it was resentment, but part of my resentment comes from feeling like, why should I have to do that if other people don't have to do that? And I'm seeing them have success not going that route and not going that way. Thanks, Shakir. I'll see you later. Why does it feel like that? And so a part of it was resentment. And I guess a little bit of envy. Like, why do you get to just show up and do your thing and build your community, but it feels like I gotta jump through all these hoops and do all this extra stuff in order to get people's attention? So and as I'm working through that, I realized that this whole idea, this whole feeling of being boring and feeling like the things that I want and the things that I feel are like genuine and authentic for me aren't interesting to other people. And so what I realized that it came from is like all the way to like middle school and high school. And that was when I knew. I was like, oh man, if it's triggering me like that, that's a problem. And not in a bad way, but in a, oh, there's something deeper that's happening, right? And so this part to me, I really want y'all to pay attention to this, because this part especially is where people have a hard time receiving constructive criticism, and we have a hard time receiving feedback because we take it personally, right? And if we're taking it personally, we're taking it to heart. For one, we can't really receive it. We can't really take it in, and our defenses are immediately up, which mine were. Like when I was told it was boring, I was like, oh, oh, oh no, oh no. You know what? You're not finna just talk to me like that. You're not just finna talk to me like that. And so I was realizing that um I was taking it personally, and I wasn't able to look at it objectively and to see, is there a part of this that is relevant to me? Is there a part of this that I can actually take and apply? So that to me is one of the biggest dangers in not being able to receive feedback, not being able to receive criticism, is that you don't even give yourself an opportunity to take it in and then make a decision about whether this is something that is this is something that is reasonable feedback, or this is something that doesn't apply to me, right? Because just because somebody tells it to you doesn't automatically make it true, but you get to make that decision when you take it in and process it and then separate it however you need to, right? So I was realizing, okay, this is triggering that part of me that felt like I didn't fit in, that felt like nobody understands me, that felt like people don't get me, people don't relate to me, people just don't understand. And that's a big reason why even, as kids, we would gravitate towards the people who had those similar interests. Like we would just kind of like get into our groups where if you were a nerdy person, or if you were like really like a nerd about a particular topic, like I can be with these people here. And it gave you a place where you could feel safe, but it didn't really fix the problem that you have with being able to relate to other people. And so I'm sitting here thinking about it, and I'm like, that is where that feeling comes from. That's where that challenge comes from for me, in being able to say, "Oh, I feel I feel like almost like being rejected." Like that's what it felt like. It felt like being rejected. Um And so I had to dig a little bit deeper now. So I'm sitting here and I'm thinking about it, and I'm like, okay, when I hear my content is boring, what I'm receiving that as is who I am is not good enough. And who like the things that I feel are important, the things that I feel are necessary, no one else is interested in it. Like that's just like I that was me taking it personally. So as I dig a little bit deeper and I go further with that thought process, then I start wondering, is it so bad to be relatable? Like, is it so bad to say I'm going to I'm instead of doubling down on the people that get it, and those that don't, which I still feel to a certain extent is relevant. Like I don't think that that's just not a thing, but what is so wrong about taking what I do and what I talk about and making it relevant for people, like making it digestible, making it applicable, making it something that is engaging people, then something that people want to participate in. What is so wrong with taking that approach and considering what does it look like to operate that way and move that way? And I realized that taking that approach is exactly how Jesus was. Like literally the first person I thought about was Jesus. And I know it's gonna sound not even, I guess, kind of like cliche, but I thought about that. Y'all know that hashtag, not that hashtag, but that acronym WWJD, what would Jesus do? I literally thought about, like, this question I really asked myself, like, what would Jesus do? How would he operate in this moment, or how did he operate in this moment? And one thing that came to my mind was that when Jesus spoke in parables, he was literally speaking in parables so that he could make the Bible accessible to everybody. Like that's literally why he spoke in parables. And so if you know anything about parables and like the significance of them, especially at that time, is that he was taking all of these concepts from the Bible, or scripture at the time. Like the whole Bible wasn't assembled at that point, but he was taking concepts from scripture, and he was taking things that were typically taught to the educated people, like the wealthy people, the Sadducees and the Pharisees and the men. And so there was all of these groups of people, Jewish people. So it was like all of these groups of people, these specific groups of people that were exempt or excluded. That's the word. They were excluded from learning scripture. Like they weren't able to get access to that knowledge and that information. And so it made it so that there was a hierarchy to the kingdom. If you wanted to be saved, if you wanted to know God for yourself, if you wanted to have that relationship, if you wanted salvation, you had to be at a certain level in order to even obtain it. And not only did you have to have that level in order to receive the education around it, but even there's just like certain things where you were automatically disqualified because of the fact that you weren't Jewish, or um the fact that you just didn't know certain things. And there are all these different laws in place that made it so hard for people to feel like they could be saved. And he did it, he exemplified it, and he walked it out because we needed to see it. We needed to be able to understand it on the most like human basic level, the levels that anybody who wanted to and was open to it could receive it. You literally just had to sit down and listen to this man tell stories. Like he was literally just telling stories. And so many people gravitated towards him. So many people were healed. So many people were saved because he didn't take the approach of, I'm up here and you're down here. And so I'm going to speak up here, and those that get it, and those that don't. He was like, let me take what I know, and on the most basic of levels, give you this information on this. Not, and it wasn't even just that it was basic, because it was so complex, which is another aspect of the parables. But let me give this to you on the most foundational level. I think that's a better word, on the most foundational level, and communicate it in a way where the elderly can get it, The Samaritan can get it. The 5-year-old child can get it. Everyone can understand this because I'm speaking to you on a human level. And so the conviction that I had was, if Jesus, literally the God in human form, with all this information, all this knowledge, all this power that he had, if he was willing to present this information in a way that made it accessible to so many people, who am I to feel like I don't also have that same responsibility? And it made me realize that the whole concept of those that get it, and those that don't, that whole mindset came from me trying to protect myself from being rejected, right? Like, or yeah, being rejected, because even if I get the feedback, if I get the critiques, and it feels like a personal attack, now me doubling down is a way for me to protect myself. It's a way for me to defend myself from having my feelings hurt. Because now it feels like you're attacking me. And I can't change who I am at my core. I can only change the way that I present the information, or I can only change how I talk about the situation. And so it's all becoming, is like not as cut and dry as I was making it seem to be before. And I felt like that would speak to a lot of people who can relate to being different, and who can relate to not not being appealing to the masses. um and not even just like, I don't mean that just literally in a physical sense, but even just the things that you care about, and the things that you want to talk about, and the things that interest you. Like, there is more opportunity for us to be connected to others and to relate to other people than we realize. But sometimes we pull back. You may be pulling back because you trying to protect yourself. Hey, Kuma, you're trying to protect yourself. Like how dare you tell me there's something wrong with me, and how dare you attack who I am and the things that I like? Y'all, like, are y'all feeling me on this? Like, let me know, because I see it's some people that's like been sticking around and listen to the conversation. And I'm assuming it's because you get where I'm coming from with this. And if you're just coming in, I'm talking about this whole idea behind, do I have to only talk about what's trending? Do I have to, dumb myself down in order for people to connect and relate to me? And I had a moment today that like completely challenged everything that I felt about that whole theory. Like, it literally challenged everything that I felt. And it was me considering, how did Jesus communicate? How did Jesus navigate this? How did he appeal to so many different people? Yeah, and you know what? I feel like, cuz Kuma's saying that talking to people like 5th graders is exhausting, and I feel like I understand that sentiment. I understand that sentiment. Um I guess my challenge to it, and the challenge that I had, is is it really dumbing things down, or is it more challenging to talk to people in a way that communicates on different levels, and it appeals to people on different levels? And the reason why I say that is because if you look like on the surface, because I'm going to go back to Jesus, y'all, because this is just the perfect illustration of this. If you on the surface, when you look at parables and the fact that Jesus spoke in parables, there was even this book that I read a few years ago. about why Jesus spoke in parables, right? And so when you look at a parable on the surface, it just sounds like an entertaining story, right? Like it just sounds like something like, oh, that's cool. The man had a talent and 10 talents, and he gave this man with this talent, and this is what he did with the talents. And like on the surface, it's just like a simple story. And then as you dig deeper, you realize, oh, the talent means something. Hey, Ron, the talent represents something. And the way that the people use the talent means something. And the reason that the guy that the owner gave different people different talents is because of this reason, right? Then you start digging a little bit deeper and you're like, wait, this is not just a simple story. Like this story has a deeper meaning. And when you start to look through, thank you, Ron. When you start to look through and you see how Jesus explains the parables, then you start to see the correlation to scripture and what it represents. But then, y'all, there's even a deeper level. Thank you, Ron. There's even a deeper level because there was a certain understanding that Jesus expected the multitudes to understand. And then there was a certain level of understanding that he expected the disciples to have. Like there was a different standard. And even when he was talking to the disciples, he would get I feel like he got frustrated with them. I feel like people be trying to act like Jesus didn't have no feelings about the way that people were, but I feel like he did. I just think he just had to really exercise like grace and patience. But I like to imagine that when they would get it, he would be like, how do you have this little faith? Like, how have you watched me perform miracles and you watched me change your life and you have witnessed me literally just like display myself as the son of God and you're still struggling? How? Make it make sense. Like that's literally what I'd be feeling like he would go through and he would have to explain the parables to them. But the reason why is because they have layers. And that's why when you could literally stay on one parable for years and get something new and something different, new revelation, new insight based off of the experiences that you had and the ways that you may have like understood the scripture at one point in your life, but now you know something else. Or even y'all, like think about how it unlocks something for you when you realize the definition of certain words. Like a word that you've been using all this time, and then you look at it and you look at the definition, and you are like, well, so you mean to tell me that this one word was flipped different ways? Like it meant one thing, like it had double entendres, triple entendres with just one word. Like one word could literally just take you to a whole different place. And so it kind of makes me think about two things. The first thing it makes you think about is the complexity in what is seemingly simple, the complexity in what seems to be like just ordinary, right? Like there can be more to it than meets the eye. And sometimes you have to present things in the most like relatable way in order for it to resonate with more people, right? Like in order for it to click for more people. And so the other thing that it makes me think about is how people say that what's the I don't know exactly what grade, but I'm gonna assume it's like a third grader. But like the way that you really know that you understand a concept is if you can explain it to a child. I'll put it that way. If you can explain a concept to a child, if you can have a child understand it, then that means that you really understand it. If you're struggling to explain it, or if it feels like you're using a bunch of words to get your point across, that is not a good indicator that you deeply understand this topic, that you deeply understand what it is that you're saying. And so it just started making me think like, that like it started convicting me. Like I started feeling pretentious. I started feeling pretentious and like stuck up. And I again, it is because of the way that I felt growing up, where people would feel I mean, sometimes I know it was intimidation, but like people would feel intimidated. They would always tell me like I'm using ACT words. I'm always using big words. Especially when I just said like pretentious. And then I immediately had to think about another word that explained it. And because I can't just assume that everybody understands that. And so it feels to me like it is more challenging to take what you know and to bring it to a space and a place that people can understand it and relate to it, especially when you're used to being the person who didn't feel accepted and who didn't feel like who you were was good enough for people, and feeling like you have to be somebody other than yourself in order for people to be interested in you, in order for people to accept you. And I just feel like there's a lot to be said about like my perspective on it. Um However, okay, and this is the flip side to that. I still believe that there is a way to have that relatability and that point of connection without having to completely change who I am to do that. And I feel that if my goal and my only goal is to make myself as relatable as possible, then it ends up getting to that territory where I'm not being who I am. And so I think that it's not about just like taking what you see and taking what other people are doing and do it yourself. I feel that it really is it's a experiment. Does that make sense? Like it feels like it is more of a journey of discovering and like trial and testing things out. And most importantly, I believe that it is allowing other people to help you to to figure that out, like getting different people's perspectives. There we go. That's what it is. Because now I can relate that back to how Jesus moved too. So having diverse perspectives and having people who like genuinely just have conversations with, and people that you talk to and converse with that don't just all agree and relate to you the same way, and being open to their interpretations, their suggestions, their ideas, and also how you can take those ideas and those concepts and still make them you. Like, what can I take from this? How can we collaborate on this? How can we come together on this? How can I take a little bit of what you said and a little bit of what you said and make it fit, make it work? And how can, like, even just having those conversations, how can it inspire you to do something else? How can it inspire you to bring about a different twist to things, a different perspective on things, a different way of showing up? Like, how can all of these things bring it together? And so one thing that it makes me think about when I was saying like the whole blending and bring it together thing, it made me think about fusion. Have y'all ever had fusion like cuisines? So when they take a mix of, let's say they take a mix of like Mexican food and Indian food and Chinese food, and they take all of these different cultures and they bring it together to make unique dishes and to make like different things that have a hint and inspiration from all these different places, but it's its own thing. And that's what I imagine for myself. Like how can I take a fusion of these different ideas and these different cultures and these different perspectives and bring it together to now shape the kind of person that I want to be. Like, how does this influence me? How does this challenge me? How does this change me? How do I now operate as a result of this new information or this new style? And not feeling like I've lost myself in it, but it's just made me better. And it's helped me to get even closer to what it is that I'm trying to do and what it is that I'm looking for and how I want to show up in the world. And so that is how I'm choosing to look at it, y'all. That's how I'm choosing to approach it. And I'm gonna be honest with you, even still, like you might be able to hear it in my voice a little bit, but even still, like it still feels a lot of uncomfortable and unsure. And even just seeing like the numbers fluctuate, it's still a challenge to not get wrapped up in that. Like to not get disappointed or discouraged by it or to feel deterred by it. And like figuring out how to maneuver that. And I think one of the reasons why is not just like this whole idea of rejection, because it's not even just that, y'all. Like for real, I am able to I'm able to take in information. Like I'm able to look at the analytics, I'm able to look at how things performed, and I can look at it objectively, especially if I'm looking at the numbers. And so the challenge becomes when you're noticing it in real time, how do you maneuver that? Your your first instinct might be to, okay, what do I need to change now? How do I shift? How do I switch this up because I'm seeing my numbers drop off when I start talking about this, or I'm noticing that more people are coming in when they see me do something wild like this. Like I don't know, like you don't really know in the moment, you don't even really know in the moment like what it is that you're doing that is working and what's not working. And it's very tempting to try to switch it as you're getting this feedback in real time. And that is one of the benefits of going live. But it can also be one of the challenges of going live too, is that you're literally getting real time feedback. You're getting real time analytics. You're seeing in the moment how things are going and how they're moving. And sometimes it's wise to adapt and switch it up, and move with the flow. And then other times it's a distraction. Other times it's a distraction. And those are just some of the things you got to be aware of when you're doing this, when you're trying to show up. And that is what I feel is part of why most people don't go live. I think that for most people that's too intimidating, that's too challenging, it's too uncomfortable. And how do I continue to show up and do this when it feels like it's so unstable, is maybe the word. I don't even know how to describe it. But how do you show up when you're seeing the numbers fluctuate, when you're seeing the response to what you're doing in real time? And in the moment you might be thinking, okay, what do I need to change and how do I switch it up? But you also might be thinking, I'm taking this personally. Like I feel a way that I'm starting to talk about this and now everybody leaves the room. I'm starting to feel a way about the fact that if as long as I have like a certain celebrity's picture up, now all of a sudden everybody's in here and then I start talking about something, business related, or I start talking about something that's not as like that's not pop culture, and now all of a sudden everybody dips. Like it's just anybody who tells you that they don't feel a way about it, I'm not buying it. I'm not buying it. You may have thicker skin, but to say that you don't have a response to it at all, like I am unable to fathom that, because you're literally getting this information in real time. And so and I think about people who stop in like certain intervals of their streams, and they'll be like, okay y'all, we need to get like our likes up, or I need y'all to start sending gifts because the numbers are going down. Or they'll start to say like, type a certain word in the chat in order to like boost them in the algorithm. Like there's a lot of different things, a lot of different like tactics that people use. And I mean, I get why they do it, but I feel like that also plays a part in it. Like in real time, they're assessing how things are going, and then they're now making a decision based off of that. And so that to me is just nah, nah, like that's it. Like it's just nah, that's how I feel about it. So there are a lot of um challenges to that, and drawbacks. And doing something like this challenge that I've been doing, it is like rubbing up against all of those triggers for me, and it's rubbing up against all of that um like resentment that I sometimes feel. And it's also challenging just um the way that I see my approach to content in general. And so all in all, it does feel like a blessing to know that there's still something that I can do differently. There's still that I still have options. Um and it's honestly like giving me a new challenge, like a new way of thinking, and just something new to discover and try out and experiment with. Because once you start doing it for a while, it can get boring, but then it can also just get discouraging when you feel like you're not getting the results that you want, but you also don't know what to do differently. And that's another reason why a lot of people just be like, I'm out, because it's not working. I don't know why it's not working. And I feel like no one's telling me why it's not working, or the ideas that I'm getting are not working either. So where do I go from here? Like how do I fix this? Like how do I maneuver through this? And that for a lot of people that ends up being like it. And I don't feel like they necessarily just stop altogether, but they do stop doing certain things. And in this instance, we're talking about going live, live streaming. They're just like, you know what? I just chalk it up to it's not for me. It's not my thing. It's not something that people are interested in. And so I'm just going to go ahead and dip out and let that be that. And so I think that that's where a lot of people are. And that's where a lot of that discouragement comes from for people. So um, that's where I landed on that. I'm making sure that I touched on everything. But that whole idea of Jesus speaking in parables, just like it messed me up. Like it messed me up, because now I'm really like, wow, wow, he did. And I don't feel like he saw it as dumbing things down. I feel like if anything, he saw it as um like like first of all, I feel like he saw it as an honor. I feel like he saw it as an honor to be able to give so many people access to this gift, because salvation is a gift. So I feel like he saw it as an honor to be able to give that many people this option. I also think that he saw it like a challenge. Like, okay, so how can I present this concept to people in a way that they'll understand without having the type of education that I had, or without having the type of upbringing that I had? How can I present this in a new way? I feel like that was his way of being able to be creative. And so looking at it in that perspective, and not looking at it as an indictment on myself, and seeing how I believe he was still able to just show up as him. Like, I don't feel like he was not being himself. But what I do know is that he still had, I guess, like certain conversations and certain things that he would choose to not share with everybody, but he would choose to share in his intimate circles. And so, which I can definitely understand, and agree with that approach, in relationship building and sharing messages and stuff like that. So that really, like, that one really got me. And it made me think about this scripture that I want to share with y'all. So y'all know the scripture where it says, "Ask and it will be given to you. Seek and you will find. Knock and the door will be open to you." It's Matthew 7:7-8. When I usually hear that scripture, it makes me think about it makes me think about prayer, which is the gist of it, especially with the seek and you will find. And then it also, I'm used to hearing it from the perspective of just having like a willingness to be open to what God says and what's revealed to you when you do ask, and just having like a genuine desire to hear it. Like, I just want to learn more about you. I want you to reveal something to me about yourself that I didn't know. And so I think that, like, that is definitely the gist of it. But when I was doing this, when I was writing this out, because I was journaling it, but as I was journaling it, it also made me think about how, like, the invitation was open to everybody. Like, and there are, I know, other scriptures that would articulate this point better, but that was the first one that came to my mind. And it just felt like I was free to do it. Like, I was available to do it. Thank you, Kuma. I was available to ask. I was available to ask these questions and learn more and discover more. And not only is that open to me, but that's open to anybody that wants it. Like, all you have to do is ask. All you have to do is ask. Like, the invitation is open. At my church, the church that we used to go to in Brooklyn, they say that the invitation is open and endless for the visitors of the church. And that's what it made me think about. Like, the invitation is open and endless. And how can I, as someone who not only is running a business, but who is representing the kingdom, who is representing the body of Christ, how can I exhibit that in the way that I communicate with people, in the way that I show up, in the way that I do business? And if I discover that there is something that I could be doing to better display that, then I'm now being invited to participate in that way, to show up in that way. So yeah, I can. I definitely can. Okay. Is that better? It's so hard because like he's asking me to make the little image smaller on TikTok because it cuts off like a whole chunk of your face. But then if you make it too small, people can't read it. So I'm gonna play around with what the graphics are gonna look like in the future because I definitely want to use more graphic. Yeah, it is. And y'all know how I feel. Well, Kuma, I don't be liking to have like stuff on the screen. I don't know what it is. It just feel like it ruins the aesthetic. And one thing that I am playing around with though that I might do is I might get a monitor so that I can have that behind me and I can use that as a reference and I can like, change the images out and do something like that. So I don't have to worry about the green screen. And then you can see that no matter where. Yeah. You don't think I have to do that? I really have just been, I mean, not racking my brain because I really only had this thought today, but that was the feeling. Oh, oh yeah, no, I don't like the green screen, guys. I don't like it. It's mostly because the quality just doesn't look good. I don't be feeling like it looks good. If I there was a okay, this is like taking me on a small tangent, but there was this somebody who was like streaming and Kyrie was watching it. And so I saw he was talking about he was doing like reactions to this show on YouTube and he was doing a green screen. But what I liked about his green screen is that it still looked so good. Like not only did the quality of the video playing in the background look good, but his video also looked good. Like it was crisp, the lighting was good, the audio was good, and I was like, I could see myself doing that, even though I still feel like it like low key still messes with the aesthetics. Cause I be like setting the mood and then it's just like to just like cover all of this up with a graphic. It's just eh, I don't know. I don't, and I it's hard for me to pinpoint what it irks, like what nerve it hits. But that would be one way that I would like for it to look. Like if it can look good and not look like I'm recording it on a flip phone, then we might can make something shake. But yeah, Kyrie, stop. Why did I hear my name? Because I was talking about a video you was watching. Bye. I knew it was coming. I knew it was coming. We have this ongoing joke, y'all, that no matter who goes live between me and my mom, because my mom is an author. And so she does interviews and like book talks and stuff like that. And so no matter who's live, we know that Kyrie he's gonna pop up in the background. Yeah, I got him a Minecraft onesie. It was at Target. They were on sale. The pajamas are on sale for 30%. I should probably post about it so I can put it in my LTK. But yeah, they had the pajamas for 30% off, and he likes the onesies because they're easy to put on, and I completely understand. So I knew that he needed a new one because his old one was Mario Kart, and he for sure needed to upgrade because that thing was small. Okay, it was small. So I saw that they had the sale at Target yesterday just because I had to go and pick up some stuff. And so I was like, oh, okay. Well, let me see what characters they got. And so they had Minecraft, they had a Mario one. It was literally just like, Mario's outfit. And then they had one more character or one more cartoon, but I can't remember which one it was. And then they also had the robes, but he doesn't need the robe. He just needed the onesie so he can just, jump in it and go about his business. But yeah, he's enjoying it. He's enjoying it. So it's a win for me. It's a win for me. It's more cool mom points. Um so yeah, you guys, that is where my head is at with it. And I it feels like I have this conversation like at least once a year. It is definitely a challenge for me. And I'm just realizing now how much of it is still tied to like my childhood and like my time as like a teenager. And that's why it's so important. It's so important to know these things about yourself so that you can identify where it's coming from, and then you can also be more objective about it, because you might find that it's actually helpful. You might find that it's actually something that you can try. You might start to get new ideas and just new things that you didn't think about before. And so naturally being somebody that can be resistant to that, especially when I feel like people don't get me, or when I feel like you don't really know what I'm trying to do, or if it feels like you're trying to make me something that I'm not, I really really buck up against that. Like, if you've ever called me stubborn, that's probably why. Cuz it was like, "Nah, I feel like you're not understanding the mission. You're not getting what I'm trying to do here, and so respectfully, no." Respectfully, no. So yeah, I think that, like I said, it can be crushing, and I don't feel like everyone's feedback is constructive. I don't feel like everyone's feedback is necessary, but I do also see it raised a red flag for me when I was realizing that I wasn't saying no from an objective place. I was immediately defending myself because I felt triggered. Like that's where it was like, okay, let me sit with this and figure out where this is coming from so that I can look at this from an objective perspective and not from a personal defensive one. And say no. Yeah, I be trying so hard not to just be like no, because I don't like when people just tell me no. I be wanting to know why you said no, but I don't have nothing to say after that. Sometimes I just I don't want to say nothing else. I just want to say no. Thank you, mask. I just want my no to be no. And then stop talking to me about it. Leave me alone now. Like that's what I be wanting to say. But I did say a couple videos ago, I did say that I want to get better at taking in that feedback, taking in other people's ideas. Thank you, mask. Um, I want to be better at that. So that's going to take for me to be able to be more objective, and then from there make a decision about what it looks like to receive it, if I want to receive it, and not just be like immediately no cuz you hurt my feelings. Hmm, growth. Growth. Yeah. So that's it. That's it. I'm trying to think. Oh, y'all. Okay. So they are absolutely growing pains. They're absolutely growing pains. But from the whole conversation, though, I did come up with a really exciting idea for me. And I'm just going to give you the disclaimer is that if you don't like it, don't tell me. Okay. If you don't like it, don't tell me. Just don't say nothing. All right. Because I've had enough feedback for today. That's just my truth. All right. I'm honestly only sharing it because I'm convinced that it's a great idea and I'm going to try it. So I don't want you to, if you don't like it, just don't say nothing. Okay. That's it. That's that. That's that. Or if you want to, like, if you say something that makes me think, oh yeah, I can add that to it, I will accept that. But that's it. Okay. So here's the idea. So I was thinking about how okay, so I was thinking about how I really don't like having to depend on trending topics for lives. I don't like it. I don't like it, and I feel a way that there are people who don't have to do that because it just feels like a shuck and jive, and I'm not a fan. Okay, I'm not a fan. Like, I just don't want to be the gossip channel. So I'm always like naturally resistant to that whole idea. So I was thinking though, I was like, how can I take this idea of like trending topics, but make it me? And I immediately thought about creating my own articles, like my own news, like fake news is what I was gonna call it. And with my fake news, I was gonna create like headlines, and I was even thinking like I could take different types of pictures that are relevant to whatever the article is going to be about. So I don't have an idea of one that I can do just yet, but um was what one that I thought of immediately was like she gets all her clothes from Goodwill. Like, maybe that could be one. Like, she gets all her clothes from Goodwill because she can't afford to buy clothes full price or something like that. And I would use myself as like the fake news so that I'm not gossiping about nobody else, but I can take things that I feel are relevant to people or that people could relate to, or just things that maybe things that people have said about me that were meant to be an insult, but it ended up being funny to me or something. Like, just kind of like playing around what it will look like to be the subject of my own fake news. And then I use that for like my backgrounds. So like when we have a topic that I'm talking about, and then the fake news would be related to whatever that is. What breaking news? Jada got new shoes, but is she sending on business? That is a good one. I'm gonna steal that. Thank you. I love that one. You wanna know what I love about that one too is that it brings in, hey John, it brings in the fashion and it also brings together the business. Thank you, friend. I'm it's funny that I assumed that I could just take it, but that's a great idea. That's a great idea. So I want to start doing fake news. And then I feel like because of that, I can also bring back my if I was gonna do a news report, I'm talking about articles right now, but if I was gonna do like a news report and just like really lean into this, then I could get my mic back. Cause I know I started clipping my mic on my locks. And so I feel like this would be like it'd be its own like series. And I would start doing the fake news channel, and I would start doing stuff like that with my microphone again. Cause there was somebody when I used to do them, before I started clipping the mic on my lock, I was I would do my lives where I was holding the microphone. If y'all remember, if you was around when I was doing those. And so there was one time in particular that I was live and somebody came in and they were like, "Are you a news reporter?" And I was like, "No," but I there was a part of me that wanted to be on the news, but the biggest deterrent why I never pursued like journalism is because I don't like watching the news myself. And honestly, the news is so depressing and it's so discouraging. And I feel like I would just have like out of control depression if I was always watching the news. Like is so much, especially when it's like, when I get off, I will make you something. Kyrie, can you stop?
It's been so many hours.
Stop. No, it has not been that many.
Yes, it has.
You're really dragging it.
It's been so many hours.
No, it has not. Boy, why are boys like this? I need answers. I need answers, y'all. Why do they be feeling like after 30 minutes they haven't eaten all day? Who knows? Who knows? Cuz I'm stressed. And then next week they ain't got no school. So this is going to be my life all day. Mommy, I'm hungry. Mommy, I'm hungry. Mommy, I haven't eaten. Mommy, I need food. Mommy, feed me. Why are you always hungry? Yeah, I'm talking about you. Why are you always hungry? Y'all not praying hard enough. Go ahead. I'll make you something when I get off. Y'all not praying hard enough. I just pray for me. Okay. Pray for me. When I say that, I mean that. I legit in real life need y'all to pray. Oh my goodness. And for real, cause why? Okay. So I think that the fake news idea, it really got to me. It really got to me. But the reason why I didn't pursue it like as a real career is because, like I said, the whole idea of like actually being in journalism, it feels very not me. Like it just feels like it's super stressful, and just sad. Like, and I feel like the people that be in journalism for a long time, I feel like they be cynical. Like, and the thing that the ironic part about it is that they be on the news and like they're all like, positive, or sometimes they're serious, but they just have like this like energy where it's like, let me just like, they're actors. Like they be acting. Let me sit here and like, present myself in a very like polished and put together way, because that's what it takes in order to be professional and be taken seriously in this career field. And I felt like there wasn't a lot of room for creativity. And the way that I am, like I only got so much professional in me. Like I only got so much. So no, no, no,
Why didn't you get it from there?
no,
I guess we'll see.
mm-mm,
Why?
nope,
Why?
nope. Just sit there and be hungry.
Why?
Yeah, I don't. I'm not a fan of it. Yes, Kyrie. Obviously, you can. Obviously, you can. You don't have to ask. Jay in the scene asking the hard question: does your utada? Yeah, I want it. Yeah, I want it to be. I want it to be news, but I want it to just like not be serious. I don't want it to be. I just don't want it to be serious. Like I'm good on that. I'm good on that. And if it is going to be like a serious topic, I still the fact that it's fake news is still, it makes it more fun and creative. So that's my idea, y'all. Actually, the whole like reporting thing just came to me out of like this whole conversation. Yeah, I just I can't take it. I can't do it. Even the people that like talk about stuff that's really happening, that are more like in activism, I appreciate those people so much. I also could not be them. Like yeah, I'm not. That is not, my brain is not wired that way. First of all, I would never have a video where I wasn't crying. Like I would literally cry every video. I would always be in tears because I would just feel so emotional about everything. You wouldn't even be able to. I wouldn't even be able to really get through it. I'll be like, instead, when and you look at the kids, and you realize that they're not even feeding the kids, and then they're not even able to go to school. Like, you did you know they can't go to school? Like every single video would be just me in tears, just undone. Oh, the sound is better because I got my mic. I didn't connect my mic on TikTok. Yeah, that's okay. So yes, Kuma. So I do be given news lady, and that was the part that was very gratifying to me. I was like, I am flattered that you feel like I have the voice for it. Like, I love that I'm given news lady, because I always get teased about my voice, like the way that I talk. Like, people say that I got a podcast voice. And then the person that mentioned me being on the news, he said that I sound like I'm on the news. And I'm just gonna lean into it. I'm just gonna lean into it. Thank you. You feel cheated? Well, I want it to be a little uncomfortable so that people stop staying on TikTok and come over here. I've cheapened the quality just a little bit. I was like, why am I doing all this work? Like, why am I doing all this work? If my goal is to grow on YouTube, why am I making it so comfortable on TikTok? Yeah, it's funner over here, guys. It's so much more fun. I really do appreciate it. And my goal, honestly, is for it to be my lives to just be on here, because streaming on multiple platforms, it's got to be worth it for me. And just the fact that I keep getting restrictions on TikTok is like, fight me. Like, fight me. You clearly have a problem with me. It's clearly, at this point, it is personal, and you want to fight. So just fight me and let's get it over with. Like, you over here throwing subs with these restrictions. Just fight me. Oh, ketchup or mustard? I feel like that would start a whole debate. Like, when people debate over salt or sugar on your grits. But I'm gonna say between ketchup or mustard is gonna always be team mustard. Mostly because I do not like ketchup. I think that ketchup is disgusting. The smell of it makes me not it doesn't make me sick. I just don't like it. Irritates me. Like, I am annoyed by the smell of ketchup. I immediately get an attitude. Like, it's just like, and the thing that's so wild is that I used to love ketchup as a kid. I don't know when it switched, but I was just like, this is disgusting. Why am I eating this? I don't like it. No, I haven't heard the sound yet. I took that question personally. No, I haven't heard. No, I have not listened to the Kendrick album yet. So I can't connect to no I can connect to no references from it. I'm guessing that that's in reference to DJ Mustard. I can't wait till I hear the song so I know the references. I'm like, I'm not necessarily counting down the days, but I am I'm gonna be glad when I know it, but I know I haven't listened to it yet. I haven't listened to it yet. Um, oh, that makes me excited though. I can't wait. I can't wait. My goal is to listen to it tomorrow, but I want to listen to it. I want to listen to it uninterrupted. I want to listen to it in the car. I just want to be driving and letting it play. Like, that's my idea. Yeah. I've seen people like give their think pieces and stuff. And I've heard some of the songs, but like, nothing really. I don't know, like, in the middle of I listened to Squabble Up, and then I listened to part of another one. I can't remember which one it was. And then while it was playing, I was like, actually, I'm gonna wait and I'm gonna just listen to it all the way. Cause for one, it was kind of pissing me off because, oh, I could do one. I could do one. I know that it might be a problem with YouTube, but I guess at most I just can't monetize that video. But I'm not monetized anyway, so jokes on them. But I could definitely do that. That would mean, yeah, I could do that. I could do that. That would be fun. Don't okay. Does it matter outside of does it matter if you listen to copyrighted music outside of not being monetized on that video? Or what else would happen? Because I thought that that was like the most that they would do. Because I know they'll give you like the restriction and stuff. Yeah. I feel like the outside of that, like it doesn't affect your whole channel, just that video though, right? Because I have some shorts that have copyright flags. And it just I think that it doesn't the sound is removed in certain countries. I have to look into that and see. Oh, it impacts your whole channel? Oh, really? Oh, okay. I thought that it just impacted that video. You know what else I was curious about though is that I see people who use copyrighted music and the music that they use is like they have like a catalog underneath it. Like there was this woman that I was following um who does walk exercise videos. And so when she does the exercises, she she does the exercises to different songs, like different like not royalty free music. It's like music that you would know. And so and when you scroll down to her description, you can see the songs that she plays and then you can go to the songs. So I want to know how she's able to do that cuz she definitely uses copyrighted music. And there's somebody Grow with Joe. There these are all exercise people, but she uses yeah, that's why I was asking. I'm like I know that's how YouTube that's what YouTube is known for, but I have literally seen people using copyrighted music and it doesn't look like it's a restriction because the music is being tagged. So I gotta figure that out. That gives me something else to research because they be doing it and there are no dings on those accounts. Now Grow with Joe, I think she might be close to 1 million subscribers. So she is a bigger account. But the other person that I'm talking about, she still has a decent size following, but she's not she still would be like micro level and she's able to do it too. So it's something to it where if the music is referenced, then it's not necessarily a copyright strike. Let me look it up and see. And if anybody else knows or you figure it out, let me know. But that's just like general rule. That's how I just be moving on YouTube. It's like, you know what? I don't even want those problems because I don't know how to get out of that. Um oh, I think I was saying something else, but I don't remember what it was. It was probably related to the whole news idea, the fake news thing. But yeah, that's what I want to do next. And your idea, let me write that one down too. Your idea, Kuma, is perfect. She got new shoes, but is she standing on business? On business. what would the picture for the article even look like? Oh, that's great. Um, okay. And that one I could definitely still reference, pop culture. Um, Thumbnail should be a worm's eye view with you and your silver boots. What's a worm's eye view? I'm trying to figure out what that would look like. And my silver boots. Okay. I don't have any boots, but I do have some new silver shoes that I haven't got content in yet. I got them from Tarjay. I can definitely do that. Oh, ground level. Okay. Got it. I've never heard that phrase before. Worm's eye view. Okay. We got us a winner. Oh, yeah. Okay. Ground level looking up. Got it. Okay. I can do that. I can do that. And that'll be fun. So that'll be my first fake news article. My fear always, oh no, it's fine. I learned something new. See, learn something new because I'm receiving different perspectives. I love it. So oh yeah, you gotta tell me about that one day. Worm's eye, dog's eye, bird's eye. Okay. What's the yeah, okay. You gotta tell me about that one day. Um no, actually, can you tell me now? What is a dog's eye view? Is that just like what that do? And what kind of dog? It's like because my dog Lola, her view and like a Great Dane's view, them two different views. What's a dog's eye view? Um, oh, I don't even know what I was talking about. I was about to say something else. Yeah, so that's gonna be our fake news. Oh yeah. So one thing that I be feeling, y'all, when I come up with new ideas, I get excited first. My first response is to get excited, and then my second response is to panic. My second response is to panic. And the reason why I be panicking is because I be wondering, like, if I come up with a good idea that I tell you that I'm going to turn into a series, the panic comes from the question, can I come up with enough content to keep this up? I immediately panic. I'm like, did I start something I can't finish? It freaks me out simultaneously. So it is so funny. Like I'll be like, yeah, that's a great idea. I can do that. Wait, can I do this? Did I share this prematurely? So knee height to waist height. Oh, okay. So with it being knee height, it will still be looking up. It will still be like from this level up. So you would only see from the waist up. Or is it far enough away where you can still get the whole look, but it's just at a different height? I'm trying to envision it. You think the article should be are you gonna wait, something like what? Mm, maybe y'all can give me suggestions. Maybe I should get your suggestions. So that way, even if I don't have an idea for the next one, I got suggestions. Oh yeah. Y'all, they was definitely getting wild. They was getting wild. And that was a lot of driving to do for content. you see on the level that a dog would. Oh man, okay. So you want to know what like that's it's kind of tripping me out right now is it's like it's literally making me think from a different perspective. And I'm like, what do like what does it look like to see things from a dog's perspective? Like height wise, even color wise, because I know they don't see as many colors as we do. Like, what does it look like? Now I'm trying to imagine it. I'm gonna have to see some videos. I'm gonna look it up. I'm gonna look it up after this, and I'm gonna see what it looks like from those different levels. Because right now I'm it's like yeah, it's tripping me out. I can't immediately think of what that would look like. Yeah, no. If you have ideas, then give me those ideas so that I can take those into account because y'all might be saving me a lot of creative energy because just thinking like basic level there's so many different things to think about like creative wise when it comes to the outfits, the title, the content, like what is this topic gonna be about, the actual title of it, um, what is the news, not the news article, but the video, what is that gonna look like? Um, so yeah, suggestions would definitely be helpful. Did y'all hear about the woman in Michigan that fought 10,000 pair of Pumas when asked why she did? She bought the pair. She was quoted saying, I wanted to have enough to stand on business. No, she did not. No, she did not. She did not do that. Oh my, that's that. Wait a minute. Did you just make that up? Or is that a real thing? Is that literally fake news? Are you using fake news for my fake news idea? Or is that a real thing? I'm typing it. That is not real. Huh. Okay, so it might be fun one day to stream from your point of view, like you looking at us, looking at you. Looking at- So, like from behind me, mm, that would be. Oh, you know what I would? I don't see this happening anytime soon. But if I had one of those, like like the GoPro cameras, they're the super small cameras that they use for like action shots. If I had that in like a headlamp or something, and that was what I was wearing to get my perspective of me going live, looking at you, looking at me, that I feel like that would be, or even just like putting it in like maybe like putting it on top of a hat or something. Keep it fashionable. Just having that on my head is kind of crazy, but that's what I feel like that would be cool. If there was a way to stream it wirelessly, I would like that. I would like that idea. The only thing is that it might get a little hectic because I don't talk like this. So like you'll see like all my head movements and me doing all this stuff, and I shake my head a lot. Like so you probably get dizzy trying to watch me from my perspective, but I think that overall it would just be hilarious. That's real fake news. No, that's facts though. That's facts. That's facts. Man, how can I make that happen? I gotta look up and see how much the GoPros are. I haven't looked at those in so many years, but I have a friend who's a filmmaker, and he was telling me that he films a lot of his content on a GoPro. And he did yeah, actually I should check him out. Like he's really dope. His name is Brandon, and he does a lot of the content for the artist AJ McQueen. Like that's his in real life, like that's just like his brother. So he does a lot of his content. But one thing that you can look up if you don't know about AJ McQueen, he's also a really good artist. But he did a video recently with D Smoke. And so if you look up D Smoke and AJ McQueen, my friend Brandon is the one that filmed that. And he told me that he films a lot of his stuff on the GoPro. So when he told me that, I was like, you could have a whole brand deal with them by now, because that's crazy. It looks so good. And it completely changes my perspective of the GoPro, because I always think about GoPro like I literally think about like extreme, like scuba diving and bungee jumping and like the really like active stuff, mountain biking. Like that's what I think about when I think about GoPro. That's how they branded themselves. Like they marketed themselves as like the camera for the really active, adventurous people. And so to know that he uses it for like just like film in general. And the reason why he said that he prefers it because it's easier for him to hold when he's filming, because he's like 6'4". So he's like trying to be at the right level for people who are shorter than him, which is like a majority of the world. He's like it's hard on his back. So being able to like have a GoPro is like really light. He can just move it around easily and get like all those dynamic shots. So he convinced me to look back at the GoPro again. You can do it for a Sunday stream and dress up like one of the sisters with a big feather hat. Oh yeah, I actually got a interesting story. I'm sure somebody will help me come up with the content for the 10,000 pairs of shoes, the 10,000 Puma lady. That's why it would be funny because you move so much, kind of like watching those cat POV videos. Yeah. Ooh, you want to know? Okay, so I thought about two things. Well, when you said that the cat POV, it made me think about it made me think about how hilarious. I'm gonna have to find that video and I'm gonna post it because I haven't posted it. But there is this video that Kyrie left on my phone when he was like a kid, like when he was maybe not a kid, when he's like a toddler. And so he had my phone, and no one knew he had my phone until my sister saw him. And I don't remember if he was like talking in it or if he was just like looking down at it, but it was like literally like from this angle, because kids are like not good at making videos. So it was like him from this angle, and all you see is him like giggling and running away from my sister when she found out that he had my phone. She was like, "What are you doing with that phone? Give it back." And so he's like giggling and running away, and then he's like, you can see his head like going like this as he's like running and holding the phone, and he was like, "Ooh," like doing all these different like sounds and stuff. And I was weak. Okay. I was weak watching that video because it was the funniest thing to me. And what made it funny was the perspective. Like all you heard was like you never saw my sister. All you see is like Kyrie and like, his face from this angle, and and him like running and like doing this. But like it's literally like everything that makes it hilarious is the fact that you're looking at it from this angle. So I'm gonna have to find that video, because that video, it still cracks me up. um Yeah. Oh man, it's like taking me down a whole rabbit hole. But the other thing, when you said the Sunday hats, there was a time last summer, me and my mom were thrifting. Like that's something that me and her we like to do, just like for fun. Like we thrift for fun, honestly. Like it's not even like we find clothes, but we're really just there to like it's just exciting. So we were going on one of our thrift trips, and so we go to like the different ones that are in our city just to have some variety, right? And so we went to Goodwill and then we went to Salvation Army, and we were just like shopping and realizing that there was like an unusual amount of church lady hats. Like there was like they were everywhere. Like they had some on the mannequins. They had like a whole row, like a top row on the racks of just like church lady hats. And so I'm like, whose grandma left all these hats here? And in my head, I'm thinking like it's somebody that passed away because ain't no way she just getting rid of all these hats. But it was like church lady hats everywhere. And so it started like really messing with me, and I got intrigued because I was like, no, like some of these hats are fire. Like, and so I tried one on, and I like showed it to my mom, and I was like, should this be my thing now? Like, should I just wear church lady hats? And so she always just like amuses my ideas. So she was like, yeah, I mean, if you want to do it, you can do it. And so I tried on a couple of hats, and I didn't end up buying any. I just left it alone. And so we left the Goodwill, and then we end up going to Salvation Army, and there's more church lady hats. Y'all, it was so many hats. And I'm like, did the same, like, how many hats did this lady have? Because in my head, I'm thinking, this is literally just one woman. Like, this is one lady who just had like just enough hats to open up her own shop. Like she just had a bunch of hats. And after she passed away, her family just needed to get rid of the hats. And she had so many hats that it wasn't enough for just that Goodwill. Like it was just like church lady hat day. There was so many hats. And I still regret the fact that I did not buy one of them hats. Cause after that, when we went back, they were gone. It was just like it was like literally like dozens of hats, and it was hats everywhere. You could tell they didn't even know what to do with them. And so I always thought that that was I always thought that that was just so funny that those hats was there. But that's what that comment made me think about, is the fact that I could have done that easily had I just bought the hats that I said I was going to last year. Well, maybe I'll find another one. I feel like the church lady hats don't really be out at this time of year. Mm, think I missed it, but maybe not. Maybe not. I feel like the church lady hats still be relevant during Christmas. That's church. That's church season. So maybe I might get lucky and I might find some. I said I was gonna go thrifting today, but it's clearly not happening because it is 6. But if I go thrifting tomorrow, I'm gonna see if I can find a church hat. That way, at least I'll have one on deck for when I do the idea. And then I got to figure out how much them GoPros cost, because that would be great. Okay, all right, y'all. I feel like I've talked enough. This is like literally the longest one yet. We've been on here for a while, but I appreciate y'all. I enjoyed hanging out with you, and I will be back tomorrow talking about who knows what, because I don't know. I don't know. Maybe if I come up with a good enough story to fill out the standing on business with my shoes, then I'll do that one. But if not, then I don't know. We'll see. But I love y'all. Take care of yourself. If you're going out somewhere this weekend, make sure that you are safe. Have fun, and I will talk to y'all in the next video.